Welcome to KDrama Divas, a podcast and community for passionate fans of Korean dramas. Join us as we explore the captivating world of K-dramas, discussing the latest releases, timeless classics, and everything in between. Whether you're a seasoned K-drama addict or just stepping into this addictive realm, get ready to laugh, cry, and fangirl with the KDrama Divas. Good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the KDrama Divas podcast. My name's Amanda, and I'm here with my wonderful co-hosts,
Maureen
and Serena.
Welcome. Today, we're going to continue our discussion on Queen of Tears. I believe we're at episode 6. Is that where we left off? I can't even remember.
I believe so.
All
If
right.
you tell me it's 6, I'll believe it.
Yeah. You're in charge. We'll do what you tell us to.
The last time Maureen was not feeling well, I don't even know if she said 3 sentences.
Right.
So
Probably
sorry.
doesn't remember it.
No, I don't.
But she's all better now, right?
Yes, I am.
And you
Okay.
love it so much you couldn't give up the conversation.
No, it is officially my number one.
Okay.
Wow.
So-
Officially.
Yes, it's
Wow.
on my list of my number one.
It's on her
favorite.
list of number one.
Let's be
No,
clear.
it is number one.
Really?
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Number one.
Number one.
Above all others.
Yes,
Okay.
Wow.
That's amazing
I
because
know.
you've watched a lot.
I know.
Wow.
How many have you watched?
I don't know. I never kept track of
Take
them
a
all.
guess. Hundreds.
Well, maybe 150. I don't know.
That's a lot.
And that's just ones she's seen one time, too. She may have seen some like 10, 20
That's
times.
true.
30
So-
times, 100 times.
Yeah.
Who
So the
knows?
amount of hours you have spent watching K-dramas.
We
I
won't
know.
talk about that.
Yes, let's not talk about it.
We all wish we could have that much time input.
I don't know.
So,
Oh, I have to tell you, before we get into this, I have to
Yes.
tell you, I kind of told Maureen. So we've talked about this before. I don't sleep a whole lot, blah, blah, blah. We bought this glorious mattress all these years ago that absolutely hate. I bought a topper for this mattress.
Oh.
And I got it on Thursday. And I cannot tell you, I have had the best sleep ever since Thursday night. I used to toss and turn and I was awake and that's when I would watch my K-dramas, was in the middle of the night when I couldn't sleep. I wake up and go to the restroom and I'd fall right back asleep. So I guess I need to take it off so I have more time, but I am in love with this mattress because now I'm sleeping.
You do look well rested.
Oh, good. Finally, after
do.
all these years. It's only taken 50 some years.
But you'll never watch another K-drama again.
Not true.
I know.
All right. Sorry to interrupt.
No. Thank you for the update. We'll have to see if you go back to your nighttime watching.
Exactly.
Nighttime binging.
Now I
Yeah.
have to do purposely do it.
That's okay too.
Yes.
That's what I do. That's what I'm doing later tonight.
Oh,
I know.
hopefully me
I
too.
know. I want to get back to mine.
Yes. What are you watching?
The Atypical Family.
Oh.
It's very strange.
Oh. In a
but-
good way or a bad way?
I don't know. I'm on 5, and it's getting interesting now.
Well, I mean, it has to be good enough where you're wanting to rush back and watch it. So
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
What?
And there's 12 episodes to it, too.
Oh. What is it, like a
Well,
horror or a...
no. It's a romance.
Oh,
believe it or
really?
not.
So I think from what I heard, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's about a family that had kind of like super powers or special abilities, and they
Mm.
lost them. And then this person comes back into town or enters their life or something, and they start to get their powers back.
Oh.
So it sounds fascinating to me.
Interesting.
Kind of like one of those. That
Maureen doesn't
side.
agree?
Yeah,
No,
I'm
it's
a
just
little
that
confused.
Uh,
Well, don't
Um,
spoil it.
well, no, they-
because I'm gonna
they
watch
tell
it.
you right off. I mean, you know right away what she's like, but you just want her to change. And I'm hoping she will.
Is that
Okay.
the female lead?
hmm
Oh, she's not pleasant.
Oh, she's pleasant. but she's basically tricking them
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
and tricking him.
Well,
Okay. Well, we'll have to see how it ends.
And they are starting to get their powers back. And his daughter has powers. Wow. Does she have powers?
ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
I'm
kind of makes you wonder.
intrigued.
I
I'm
know.
intrigued by this drama.
Yes. And his sister. And evidently, she is the one that they show as like the first star of it. And I guess she's a pretty big name. I think so. But yet, I've never really heard of her. But anyway, she is in a fat suit because she's
Oh.
really large. And the picture of her, she's not that way at all. And
Hmm.
so I know, it's obviously,
Mhm.
Makeup
but
and stuff.
anyway, she's getting her powers back, and wow. Yeah.
Okay.
We don't know what kind of powers these people have, but they are very wow.
Yeah.
We don't entirely know what wow means, but we will when we watch it.
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't know if you were trying to, but I already wanted to watch it, but you kind of sold me on it, even though you seemed unsure whether you like it or not. I'm even more
Well,
curious.
It's just her and her family.
I think I'll wait and see what you think about it.
Okay, sounds good.
And it's like family with quote marks because they're not necessarily her family, but they're her family because she lost her real family.
Oh, kind of
So-
like adopted to her in family.
Sort of, except the woman isn't that way.
Well, we'll wait.
But,
We'll
yeah.
wait when we see.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so getting into our real discussion, Queen of Tears episodes. I kind of broke this down. So we were going to go episode by episode and like give a full summary. But, I'm getting too bored. I'm bored, but distracted. I want to talk about other dramas already.
Right.
Maybe we won't go in detail quite as much as
Right.
we've been doing. Just because there's so many other dramas we want to talk about and there's just not enough time.
Exactly. Right. And we could talk about it forever, but
I know.
we don't want to give everything away either, right?
I know. So I wanted, let's at least start this episode, and maybe we could go further than this, but let's kind of talk about episodes 6 through 8 to start with, which if you remember, going back to episode 6,
Remind me.
the male lead and female lead, and we're always debating how to pronounce their names. I think
Hannah is her name.
Hannah. Well, I do think the male lead, Hyun Yu, I think he does call her Hannah in there. But I don't know, is that like a wife name or you know what I mean? Like sometimes
No,
okay, I don't know. But my boss at work who knows Korean a little bit, I tried to get him to tell me the names and he said, well, I need to see what they're spelled like in Korean or I can't help you.
Oh, really?
And so then he was trying to find it and then he was telling me the names, but I think it was for a different drama.
Oh. That's helpful.
But I know. And so he's like, I don't think this is the right drama. And I told him that he would be my consultant.
Is he okay with that?
I don't know. Probably not. His name's Chul.
Okay.
Everyone, because he said I'm not allowed to mention him on my podcast.
Oh, so maybe I should mention him.
Well, I just
His name is
did.
Joel.
Chul. He's been mentioned by all of us now. He'll never listen, but if he did, he'd be like, I told you never to mention me.
Maybe this is how you'll know if he listens or not.
I know. There you go.
We should give a shout out to all the people in the different countries who've been watching before we move on.
Oh,
Yes.
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 So many different countries have been tuning in.
Thank you. We
Thank
are
you
so
very much.
excited. Yeah.
So excited, so surprised. There's
Yes.
Canada, France, Australia.
Yeah.
Azerbaijan,
Yeah.
Yes.
Luxembourg.
Yes.
Yes, someone in Luxembourg. Hi,
Yeah.
Luxembourg.
Yes. Hello. We're really very grateful that you guys are listening.
Yes.
So give us some feedback.
Yes, and tell us what you're thinking of
Yeah.
these
Even
dramas.
if it's negative.
Yeah. Just be nice
well,
about it.
Yeah. I mean, we do our best. We're not professionals.
No.
No.
So just be nice. So Queen of Tears, episode 6. If you remember, the male lead and female lead are back in Germany. And they reconnected on those steps, and it was
Yes.
That's right.
it was kind of a beautiful moment.
Yes.
It
I did
was.
love it. That part
Yes.
I loved.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Because you kind of think everything's going to be okay.
you do. You
Mhm.
do. For the first time in a long time watching this, because
Mhm.
episode 6, it feels like it's been a while.
Right.
But you think there's hope.
Right.
There's hope. It's going to be
Right.
good.
Yeah.
Right.
Then after that moment, they're eating instant noodles, like having deep conversations, and just you realize they're in love. They realize they're in love,
Yeah.
and they kind of have this reconciling going on.
Right. It's not pretend like he was doing anymore.
Right.
It's real love.
Mhm.
Yeah. But then,
But then they also find out the doctor tells her that she can't have surgery.
yes.
And he goes and he sees the doctor, and it's not good. He tells him, "Have you ever been to Korea?" And he says, "You might be getting sued."
That's right.
Oh, I
That's right.
forgot.
Mhm.
That's
He
right.
basically, Han Yu saves the day, really,
He does.
because,
He says, "We've given you a lot of money."
and he said, we've given you a lot of money,
Mm.
with the expectation always is that you would at least treat her, that you would at least try,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not even trying. And so he kind of saves her because she's so discouraged that they won't even try. And you see the male lead praying at the church. What do
Right.
I do? What do we
Mhm.
do?
Yeah.
And then he goes to the doctors and
That's
he's the hero. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's been quite a while, so I'd forgotten that part. That's yeah.
That is a good
Mhm.
part.
That is a very
Mom.
good part.
So my favorite part too is when they're back at the hotel and she's kind of like, where are you going to sleep? I don't know. I'm summarizing it because I
Right.
didn't just watch it.
Right.
And he's so awkward about it. He's
Right.
like, well, do you want me to sleep in the other room? You want me to sleep in the other room? And she
Mhm.
says, that's not what I said.
Right.
I think he says, do you mean tonight or every night?
Right.
And what, I don't know. I don't really remember everything.
I don't remember either, but it was she respond to that and say
She
every
said, well,
night.
she
didn't
says, "I'm going to go sleep in that room. You can choose to sleep where you want."
Oh, that's
He
right.
follows her and says, "Does that mean I can sleep in the same room tonight and forever?" And she says, "Deal."
There you go.
Deal. That's exactly what she wanted to hear. So it's so sweet. So all of this is happening, but then meanwhile, back in their home in South Korea,
Mhm.
evil Mr.
Yes.
Yoon is in Hyun Yu's bedroom.
Yes.
And he's ravaging through his office.
Mhm.
And
And is this the time he's with the female lead's brother's wife?
yeah, I think
Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
They're all together.
Yeah.
And guess what I did at this point?
He turned it off.
I did. I was like, I can't do it. It sounds so dramatic when I was
Right?
like,
Mhm.
no,
Yeah.
this can't be
I know.
happening.
Yeah.
I know.
They're so evil.
Right.
And I
I
can't.
felt completely devastated.
I know. And
Yes.
since
Yeah.
you guys were watching it, you've surpassed me, and I wasn't watching it with anyone. I
Yeah.
didn't have any encouragement to keep going at the time. And I just couldn't. I couldn't.
Yeah.
So I just turned it off. And then I made my husband start watching it with me from episode 1.
And he's glad that he did, right?
Yeah, he loves it. And I think he's going to be on one of our episodes probably in a month or so.
Okay.
And then he can talk about whatever dramas he wants. And this could
Ooh.
be one of them.
Okay.
But
We'll kind of give him free reign, huh?
I don't know. But I don't know. So that part, it was just really hard for me.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not going to stop watching it, but part of me is, how can I go on?
Right. Right. Because
Right.
you don't want,
Right.
you're just so excited that they are
Yes.
reconnected and
Yeah.
back together, and you think that everything is going to start going okay. And then you realize that it's just
Right.
going to get worse.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And a lot worse.
Yeah.
A lot
Right.
worse. If you're watching Queen of Tears and you're on episodes 6 through 8, I'm so sorry.
I know. But don't give up. Keep going.
Don't give up. Don't give up.
Don't give up like me for a day.
That's right.
But so I mean, basically what happens, they break into his safe
Right.
And they find the divorce papers that he
Yes.
had from episode 1. They basically set him up to make it look like he's
Right.
embezzled money
Right. Yes.
from the chairman and all this
And planting
shady-
videos
Yes.
and
Yeah. And
yeah.
they said that he's got like hidden cameras or something. Or
Right.
Yeah.
in the
Yes.
chairman's
Yeah.
office,
Spying-
right?
spying
Yeah.
on him.
On the family.
Yes.
Yeah.
They plant all this information.
Right.
They call Hannah and basically try to tell her while she's in Germany, like he's committed embezzlement. He's been spying on the family.
And
She-
he's got these divorce papers.
Well, they
Right.
they don't tell her that at first, and she just is like, "You're ridiculous," and she
Right.
hangs up. But then later on, she answers the phone, and they tell her about the divorce papers, and
Mhm.
she confronts him, and he's honest. Thank God, at
Right.
least he's honest
Right.
about everything.
Right.
But
Too
it-
bad he wasn't honest a little earlier.
yes, I
But
know.
that kind of seems to be the case in a lot of these. So
I know.
it's all timing.
But it destroys their relationship.
Yeah.
It
It
destroys
does.
it completely. And
Yep.
so, I mean, that's how I would summarize the rest of 6 through 8. 6 through 8 is like sadness and despair as their relationship crumbles. And
Yeah.
I mean, you guys may have things you want to talk more about it, but 6 through 8 were really hard for me because
Mm.
the company's falling apart, they're losing it all,
Right.
Mhm.
and then their marriage falls apart. Is that when they must get divorced,
Right.
right?
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyone want to talk about the divorce though? Sabrina?
Maureen, you go for it.
Well, her attorney is Vincenzo.
Anybody that has not watched Vincenzo,
Oh, you've
Oh.
got to watch it.
you've got to watch it.
It is a fantastic.
It is fantastic. And I love him and I miss him.
Yes.
This made me realize how much I miss him.
Yes, yes. So we were all, because we've watched it and loved it so much, when we saw him come, when he was part of this as the attorney, because that's what he did at Vincenzo, it
Mhm.
just kind of made us all excited and happy to see him in something else. Because has he been in anything since?
No, just the movie that he made, but that was
Oh,
it.
okay. So it's been
Oh.
quite a while.
He needs to
so-
be in another
Yes,
drama.
he
Yes,
does.
he's awesome.
He's so cool.
Yeah.
He's so cool. And
Mhm.
he's Korean James Bond. I don't
Yes.
know. He's so awesome. And,
Yeah.
He is.
and he's so cute. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yes, he
and
is.
not the fact I'm not always, oh, they're so cute, but he is so cute.
Yeah. Well, and I love the fact that they kept his acting name
Yes.
and his personality from Vincenzo,
Yeah.
and they capitalize that, and they're talking about how he's this. I'm not going to give it all away, but
Yeah.
how he's this and that and the other, which is totally his character from the other one. It just was a highlight
Yes, it was.
of it. And Maureen watched it first, I watched it second, and Amanda watched it third. So when I saw it, I'm texting Maureen saying, "Is this really him? Oh, Amanda's going to be so excited, you know." So I was really looking forward to Amanda
Mhm.
getting to that point and
Mhm.
seeing him on there because I knew how much she loved him.
I
So.
do. And the male lead is so afraid. And the
Right.
male lead and his attorney friend, they're oh no, we have
Well,
to go
it's
up
the-
against him.
Yes,
Yeah.
well, the attorney friend is saying what he's like.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's such a funny.
Yeah. It's a great
It
scene.
is a funny scene. I mean,
They're
oh.
picturing themselves being murdered. By
Yeah.
if we cross him, we're dead.
Because, okay, we'll say in Vincenzo, he is a mob. He's part of the
Yeah.
mob. So that
Yeah.
plays into the whole.
He's a mob attorney.
Yes,
And
so-
it's so amazing. We
That's
should
really
talk about
good.
that. We could talk about Vincenzo
yeah.
the rest of the show.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. It's like there's so much that goes into 6 through 8 as well. But I mean, at the end, basically,
Well, he becomes even more suspicious of Moonsong.
oh yeah, because he completely continues on his path of trying to
Take
steal-
everything and
Yeah.
destroy
Yes.
everything for the
Take
destroy the
everything.
family.
take everything, destroy the family,
Yeah.
But he
and
wants Hannah.
yes,
Mhm.
he wants her bad more
Right.
than
He
anything.
wants her. Yes.
Right. And why would you do that to somebody's family if you want?
I know.
I guess maybe because he knows that she has been a kind of an outcast at this point. So maybe
Mm,
he doesn't
That's
think it's
true.
an issue.
You're probably right.
you
because,
are probably right.
I
Mhm.
mean, really, she up until this point, she hasn't been that close to her family.
Mm-mm.
They're always competing.
Right. And they're not nice to her.
No.
So, except that grandpa.
Yeah, he seems to have a special connection with
Right.
her.
Right.
But one thing I will say about their divorce though is that one thing I just want to touch on is that Hyun-yu, he doesn't want to get divorced and he loves her.
Right.
But the female lead falls into such despair
Yeah.
when she finds out about the divorce that she's like ready to step out into traffic and get hit by cars and just end her
Right.
life.
Right.
Because she feels like she has nothing to live for
Right.
anymore because he's kind of
Right.
been the reason why she kept going.
Right.
And so the male lead, knowing her personality, realizes I have to put a fight back in her.
Right.
So he kind of eggs her on, like,
Right.
yeah, I did want to divorce you and I
Right.
still do. And makes her so angry and livid that she gets a fight back into
Right.
her. And so he wants her to push through the divorce just so that she finds a will to live and
Right.
keep going.
Right.
So I just, which I get, but it just makes it really hard
Yeah.
Mhm.
because she's heartbroken and
Right.
angry. And I hate that.
But he's doing everything he can think to do to,
Right.
in this situation,
Yeah.
to give her something to fight for,
Mm-hmm.
even if it
Yes.
may be hurtful to him and the relationship. He thinks it's better for her in the long run. And I mean, what more can you do to show you love somebody that, to do what's best for them and not for you?
That's
So-
true. That's true. But it's hard to watch,
Yes, it is.
in my opinion.
Yep.
But I think that's all. I mean, that's all I want to say about 6 through 8. It's hard.
It is.
But you guys might have more you want to talk about.
I'm good.
What happens at the end of episode 8 will help us transition into episode 9. And that is where they've lost the Queen Empire, basically.
Mm-mm.
And they can't even get into their home.
Oh, yeah, because Mr. Yoon has, and the evil
Yes.
chairman's
Girlfriend.
girlfriend.
Right. And is the media there at that point?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Reporters.
Yeah. And they don't want to be seen by the reporters
they
because
don't.
it's humiliating.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Hung Woo pulls up and he kind of blocks their view from taking
Yes.
pictures,
That's
and they're so
right.
upset. But that's how much.
Oh, because Grace set them up.
Yes.
Yes.
Grace wanted the media to take pictures of the fall of the empire, like the
Right.
Yes.
family.
Right.
Yes.
Evil
And-
Grace.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
I
again, the male lead saves the day
Yes.
to the family he's divorced to, really.
Right.
Yes,
He has
yes,
not
Right.
really.
he cares that much.
Right.
Right. He does.
And so he gets them all in the van, which is a Mercedes van. Did you notice?
But you don't know it at the time, right? I think it's kind of
This is
hidden
all
that
episode
he's the one
9.
picking 'em up.
This is all episode 9, but that's okay because that's what we're starting to talk about.
yeah.
And I didn't know it was a Mercedes van, but only the best, right? Only the best for that.
So where do they go? They go to.
I love this because the episode with the two mothers, or not the episode, the last scene with the two mothers
Yes.
is that her mother was so horrible to
Mhm.
his mother,
Yes.
right? And was
Yeah.
like, "You're the scum of the earth."
Yes, and we're never going
you-
to see each other again.
Right, right. So I
Mhm.
love this next part that you're talking about because that just is like, yes.
I know. Oh, so they show up at his parents' home,
Yeah.
Yes.
and the brother and sister are with the father. I
Yeah,
think.
they're all together.
Yes, and they are not speaking well of Hannah
Right.
because they're just so upset with the whole
Right.
situation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I forget what they say about her.
Not nice things.
Yeah.
But anyway,
She hears it all.
Yes.
she heard
Yes.
it all, and she steps out,
Right.
and she comes up and she said, she basically tells them, and they feel very embarrassed, but
Uh-huh.
she doesn't care really.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, who comes out of the van? Her father and her think her
brother.
brother,
Yes.
Yeah.
and then her aunt, and her mother is last.
And after she just chewed out his mother and was so
Oh,
mean to
yes.
her, and now she's like has to totally
Mhm.
eat crow, right?
Yes. And I just have to tell you that this whole scene, like everything about it, when it started at the end of episode 8, and then into 9, I just was like, yes,
Yeah.
this is what I needed, because 6 through 8 were so hard to watch, and then you have this whole change of pace
Right.
where they're being uprooted from the life they knew and going to a village, and it causes so much
With
more.
nothing.
Yeah,
Right,
it's just so much more
right.
interesting and
Right.
exciting, and I was kind of like, okay, where is this going?
Right.
And it kind of renewed my interest and hope in this drama, because
Yes.
by the end of episode 8, I was kind of like, okay, how much more of this can I take?
Right.
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 So I just love this new plot twist.
Yes.
You know, I
Yes.
think we did not mention Hannah's brother, his wife leaving him,
We didn't. You're right.
and he's completely devastated.
That's right.
With her being gone. She went to New
Mhm.
York and she took their baby.
Yes.
Well,
It's kind of clear at this point that it's
Yes.
not really his baby.
Right.
right.
But we didn't really mention that. But
Mhm.
she was all part of the downfall of the empire. I'm
Right.
calling it the
Yeah.
empire.
Well, it was.
Yeah, Queen's Empire.
Right.
But and so they basically, like, the plan with her was, you've got to move, you've got to leave. Here's money. Go to New York, start a
Mhm.
new life.
Right.
And it's so sad. Her
Yes.
brother is
Oh.
just completely
Yes.
devastated. And
Yes, he is.
you would expect him to be angry and feel betrayed, but and there's probably some betrayal
Mm.
that he feels, but he just wants her back. Like,
Right.
he doesn't
Yes.
care.
He loves her so deeply.
He
Yes.
does.
Yeah.
He
Yes.
does. And so he's been such a bumbling fool kind of, but you see how deep his love is and
Mhm.
his faithfulness and how he's committed.
Right.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
Right. No.
And I
It's-
love how he even changes. He
Yes.
takes boxing lessons from the older
Yes.
brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Mhm. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's all part of what happens in really episodes 9 through 13, as I feel like these are all episodes where they're in the village, 9 through 13.
Okay.
And I love these episodes.
Yes.
Because they all start changing.
Yes.
They
All the
do.
characters start changing.
Right.
And
For the good.
yes, it's
Yeah.
like they needed it. They needed a
Yes.
reset.
They almost like needed a reality check that
Yeah.
the life they were living, they needed to realize that they needed to be a little more humble and a little more
Mhm.
thankful and not be so mean to everybody, you know?
Right.
The
right.
father, I mean, he was terrible.
Yeah.
It'd be like someone could leave and he was very nice to them, but then as soon as they
Oh,
left,
Yeah. He
wow.
stabbed him in the back like
Yes.
none other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love how he changed.
Yes.
I do. I love how he changed.
Yeah.
And the mother, oh my goodness.
Mhm. Yeah.
she's interesting because the first while they're there,
Well, she doesn't want to be there.
no,
Right.
she doesn't. And she makes it known.
Mhm. She's the worst out of all of them because the rest kind of understand.
The situation.
Yeah,
Yes.
they understand reality. Like, we can't go home.
Right.
We're in big trouble here.
And we're going to make the best of where we're at.
Mm-hmm. And we're grateful. We're thankful we have a place to stay.
Right.
And I mean, the brother's a little out there, like, I need spring water.
Right. Right. And a specific brand, right?
Mhm.
And the father's like, oh, any spring water will do.
I know. Like they have spring water there, you know? But they just think those things are
Mhm.
everybody has them and it's just readily available. They have no concept of reality
Right.
for the common folk, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
It's so funny to watch those scenes.
It
And
is.
It is.
like I've never slept on the floor before. I mean,
Right.
actually, I don't really like sleeping on the floor either.
I know.
but-
But if you had to, you would.
Right,
I mean,
right.
given the
Mhm.
circumstance, what other option did they have? So you make the best of it.
Mhm.
And I think for the most part, they did, other than the mother at first.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
yeah.
And then she goes in for a cup of espresso
Oh,
to
tell
the
us that.
coffee shop. And she gives them her card. And what happens? It doesn't work. Then she hands them another card and it doesn't work. And who should be behind her but his mother? She just
Saves the day.
I'll pay for coffee. And then
I forgot about all that.
she says, "That's okay. You'll work for me," or
You're gonna work for this.
yeah, she'll work for this.
So she makes her go and pick pears, right?
Yes.
Isn't she picking pears?
Yes.
I'm
or
assuming-
she's doing something with the pears.
Yeah. And it's hard manual labor.
Right?
Mhm.
And it's so funny because before this, leading up to this, she didn't really eat their food because she can't have carbs.
Right.
And she couldn't sleep because she didn't have her medication. And
Mhm.
she was very prissy about everything.
Right.
So then she works at the orchard for a day and she's eating like she's starved.
And they're all staring at her in shock, and her husband is staring at her in
Yeah.
shock.
As she shovels rice into her mouth.
And didn't she like fall asleep and she was out for the
Yeah.
night too?
Yeah.
Without her meds?
And
She
then
sprawled out,
Here he is, he's
snoring.
walking in, and he's, "Honey, I have your water to go with your pills," and she's snoring away. Oh,
It was a great moment. I love
Yes.
that. I
Maybe
love
she
that.
needed one of my mattress covers.
Maybe we all do.
yes.
So, so that, I mean, you see how she changes. And
Mhm.
then she also, obviously, she warms up to,
His mother.
yeah, thank you. I'm like, that person.
Yeah.
Well,
She does. But
it's
before that, there's a rivalry, right?
Mhm.
She's
she
jealous.
notices that Hannah is
Has a good relationship
has a good relationship
with his mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hannah's like, she's learning how to make different food from her.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
Hannah's also just so impressed. Like, wow,
Mhm.
how do you know how to do this? You're
Yeah.
so good at this. And
Yeah. And she mothers Hannah and truly loves her. So she takes care of her like she's her own,
Mhm.
which is not something Hannah is used to. And the mother is certainly.
Does she know that she's
Sick?
sick?
Not
I
at
don't think at that
first.
point.
Not at that
Okay.
point. But yeah, there's a definite rivalry there for a little bit. So you brought this up a little while ago, but Hannah's brother, Suchol, I don't know how he gets to know Hyun Yu's brother that well, but they start hanging out
Yeah.
at the boxing club, what's it called? Boxing gym?
The gym,
It's-
whatever.
yeah.
it
I
is.
don't know. He has some sort of gym.
Like a training gym.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love this storyline.
And he's amazed too that the trophies in there are from
Mhm.
Hein Wu.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
He can't believe it.
Right.
Hyun Woo can do anything.
I know.
Yes. Yes. And in fact, when he mentions it in front of the family, they're all amazed.
Right.
Yeah.
They had no idea how
Right.
accomplished. They knew he was smart
Mhm.
and accomplished, but just not everything he
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
could do and was
It's like everything
top of the
he's-
class.
Everything he's ever done, he's excels at.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
they're
He's kind of
amazed.
like, he's really the best
Right.
at
Mhm.
everything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to learn how to box. And so Hyun Woo's brother just basically says, you have to learn how to get beat up.
Right.
So he just like beats him. He's like, you have to learn how to take a punch. And then when they least expect it, that's when you fight back.
Right.
And so you're kind of like waiting, like he's going to have a fight scene sometime.
Well,
Mhm.
and didn't he want to learn because he realized to step up and be a man, he had to be able to take care of his family.
Yes.
So he needed to learn how to fight to
Mhm.
take care of them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is while they're in New York. He's thinking like,
Yeah.
Right.
I want my family back. I need
Right.
to be able to fight for them.
Yeah.
And the brother, like his heart, it reminds me of the Bible.
Oh.
So Hosea, you know how Hosea marries the prostitute and she cheats on him and betrays him, but he doesn't care. I mean, he's hurt, but he just wants his wife back. It reminds me of the
Wow.
brother in this. He doesn't
Wow.
care that
Really?
he's been betrayed.
Right.
His heart is for that commitment he made, and I
Right.
just love it. I
Aw.
love that.
That's
Uh-huh.
a great analogy to pull in.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
So Anyway, but I just love the storyline. And while he's at the boxing ring club gym, I don't know, you can tell
Place.
we're really athletic. So athletic.
If we were, we wouldn't have time to watch K-drama.
I did buy a rower machine so I could row while I watch them,
Oh,
but it's just sitting in the corner.
you have good intentions.
Maybe one day.
Hey, maybe we should start a gym and play K-dramas.
Yes.
Oh my
In the gym, we could all be at the gym working out, watching
I was
K-dramas.
seriously Googling what gyms have Netflix because I thought that's the only way. That's the
But
only
you know
way.
what? I think on a lot of machines now at the gyms, you can plug in and watch whatever you want.
Really?
I don't quote me on that, but I think.
If I can find one, I'm joining because I need to do something. But anyway,
Rabbit trail.
I know.
So we were talking about him at
What
the
were we talking
gym,
about?
and his wife was in New York. And
Yes. Because he's tried to contact her and everything's turned off. But he remembers we played a video game
Yes.
together. And
Yes.
so
and he sees
Oh, I love this.
his the older brother's son is playing a video game, and he's thinking, "Wait a minute, that's the game that
Oh, yes.
That's
I
right.
played with my wife."
Mhm.
Right. Right.
So yes,
So that's how he signs on to talk to her. And
Yes.
I think he sends her a message and it's like, are you okay? And remember, our son needs this, this, this.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
she's been told by Mr. Yoon, because she's reached out to Mr. Yoon and been like, how is he? And
Right.
he's
Right.
like, he wants nothing to do with you. If you mention him again, I'll kill him.
Yeah.
well, he's saying that he's angry at her too.
Yeah,
Right. Which
yeah.
wasn't
Not true.
true. Yeah.
And that kind of revealed to her, he's not angry with me. He just
Right.
loves me. And
Right.
it's so, I just didn't know how much I'd love that storyline, but I,
Right.
I really
Because
did.
because in a different one we were watching, we were saying, oh, that storyline of the brother and stuff didn't
Mhm.
add to it, but I think this does add to this
Yes,
storyline. I
it
think it's a
does.
good,
It does.
it's a good one.
And it just shows him stepping up because he's
Yeah.
always been so babied.
Right.
And
Yes.
he'll do whatever he needs to do. And I mean, since we're grouping it together 9 through 13, we
Yeah.
can say she ends up coming back
Right.
to the village because I think her son's real father
Mm-hmm.
is in New York and
Mhm.
I mean, I
He's
think
not a good
he's
person.
like
No.
abusive, mentally, physically,
Yes.
terrible,
Right.
terrible man.
Right. Totally
And-
using her.
Yes.
Mhm. And she steals this gold Buddha.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Was it a Buddha?
She stole it from the family.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I know. But she steals it back from her husband and she flies to South Korea, brings them back there for
Right.
Yes.
gold and is reunited with her husband. And
Right.
he's just
Yeah.
Yes.
so happy.
Yes.
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 So
for
sweet.
for a while.
I
Yes.
know.
Yes.
For a
Yes.
while.
We'll just leave it
for
at
a
that for now.
while. Yeah. But I mean, his mom is like, how could you take her back at first? She's kind of
Right.
negative,
Right.
but she doesn't stay negative even probably one episode. She kind of says, okay, well,
Well-
she's our family now. It doesn't matter.
Well, and isn't it because she realizes that the brother's wife who's come back, that she has kind of changed her ways and she's
Mhm.
admitting to things that she did and she's coming clean and
She
right?
is.
Is
Yeah.
that during these
Yeah,
episodes?
because she has nothing to lose. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
yeah.
Right. And I don't know where you're going to go for that from here, but I think something that we should talk about too is the crazy aunt
Oh, yeah.
and the guy in the village, right? We
Oh
haven't
my
talked
gosh.
about them at all.
I know.
I love their story
Yeah.
too.
I know.
I had mentioned it to Amanda before we even started. I said, are we going to talk about them?
Yeah.
I forgot to.
So if you have it somewhere else,
No, I don't.
we'll pause. But yeah,
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. The aunt's name is Pomja. Is that
it
right?
doesn't matter.
But crazy aunt. We call her crazy aunt.
Yeah.
Even though she's not really crazy.
right, right.
But crazy aunt.
She's
and
fun.
She is
Yeah,
fun.
She's a fun
Yeah.
aunt.
And she's been divorced a few times, but she
Yeah.
still believes in love.
Right, right. Well,
Yes,
and they
she's
all
still looking for
cheated.
love.
Yeah, they all cheated on her, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Whether it was, I mean,
So
it's
she's
never
really had love because I
Right.
think they all
Right.
were using her.
For
Right.
her
basically.
money.
Exactly.
And, yeah.
For her money.
Yeah.
right.
But
Yeah.
she finds someone that isn't going to use her for her money
Yes.
in the village.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And that is his father's like right-hand man or
Yeah.
second
Yeah.
right-hand man.
Yeah.
He's kind of like counselor to the people in the village too.
Yeah.
Remember, they go to him for advice. and
Yes.
marriage advice too, and he's never been married.
No. And he's the sweetest, most innocent guy. I mean, he
Mhm.
just doesn't have a bad bone in his body.
Right.
He's just so kind-hearted
Mhm.
and
His
so
mother is suffering from Alzheimer's.
yes, and he's
Yeah.
taking care of her.
Yes.
And
It
did
made
they
me cry.
did they not have a good relationship?
They
It seems
didn't.
like.
They didn't have a
No.
relationship
But
at all.
but when he realized she had Alzheimer's, he
Yes.
took her in,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. I'm sorry that
No,
that had to
it's just
No, I know. I
anything with
know.
Alzheimer's,
I know.
dementia, I cry. I'm like
Yeah.
my dad,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he's so good natured. And my mom brought this up earlier when we were talking, not on this podcast, but we do talk outside of this podcast. So he was in Crash Landing
Yes.
on You. If you remember in
Oh.
North Korea, the person that spied on everyone.
Oh.
That was him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. That was so long ago that I
And
watched
he
that. but-
also played in Military Prosecutor Doberman, but in that, it'd be hard to believe it was the same character.
And that's just
I mean,
going
the
right
same
now.
actor.
That's one that's playing right now, right?
On Netflix, yes,
Okay,
but
yeah.
it's been on other shows because it's a
It's
couple years
old.
Oh, it is.
I've never seen it. Have you?
Oh,
It's from
huh.
2022, though.
I've seen
yes.
advertisements the last week or so for it, but
Yes.
okay.
It's good.
Okay.
It is good. But anyway, he's in that, and he's like a co-star, and it's shocking when you think that's because
Really?
he's kind of you cannot believe that it's him.
Oh,
But, yeah.
interesting. Huh.
It's amazing the quality of actors. They're
I agree.
so good.
I agree.
Oh,
Um,
they are so good.
Yeah. Their range.
Yes.
it's amazing.
It is. All right. So where do we go from there?
So, yeah, the aunt meets this guy in the village, and she has a crush on him.
Yes.
And she tries to kind of flirt with him or walk by. He's so oblivious.
Right.
He is so oblivious.
Right.
So it's a cute storyline that kind of goes the rest of the series really
Right.
with them. But I just love the side
Yes,
stories that are so interesting and gripping.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
But I also want to talk about the dad, Hana's dad, because during this time he really changes too.
Yeah.
He's really humbled.
Right.
And I think immediately he realizes the weight of what's happening to the family, even
Mhm.
though his wife doesn't. And
Right.
I think he really bonds with
The other father.
Yeah.
High
Yeah.
news,
sorry.
hot dad.
Yes,
Yeah.
the two
Yeah.
of them together, you can tell they're going to be close friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
They
Yes.
get
They are.
together and they'll drink and they'll talk
Yeah.
about their children. And
Mhm.
there's this bond that forms.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's really special. And
It
you
is.
just see,
I
like,
love it. I
Yes.
just
I
love-
know. And you see he's changed.
Yes.
Like almost instantly, he's
Right.
not the same person.
I
And
agree.
boy, as we talk about this, I realize how much I really love this
Yeah.
show.
it's my number one because
Yeah.
of all this.
And it's not your number one, but maybe.
Maybe it'll be in the top 5.
Okay.
Which there's like probably 10.
700.
No, but it really, I mean, it's so good, these episodes,
Mhm.
9 through 13. And while this is all going on, the male lead, Hainu, he is trying to, he's like kind of behind the scenes, trying to investigate who is behind the fraud. What did they do to manipulate the stocks and
Mhm.
bring down queens?
Yeah.
He's kind of behind the scenes interviewing people and trying to track down money, making enemies along the way.
Right.
He gets beat up a couple times,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's always Mr. Yoon behind everything bad that happens.
I think he knows it's him.
Oh,
just
yeah.
wondering.
He has the proof.
He has to have
Yes.
the proof and the
Exactly,
trail
yeah.
so that he can get him convicted.
Right. And who else is involved with him?
Right.
Yes.
Because I'm sure he has an idea, but I don't know if, at what point he realizes the extent of it. Because I'm sure he figured that the grandfather's girlfriend was in on it. I'm sure. I don't know if he questioned the brother's wife at all. I don't know if
Yeah.
anybody saw
Well,
her.
I don't know, but they figured it out at some point.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't remember. Maybe you guys remember. Is it common knowledge at this point that the chairman's girlfriend is Mr. Yoon's mother. I don't remember when they all find that out.
I think later on, isn't it?
It might
It
not
could
be
be.
yet.
Yeah.
I
But
think it's later on.
They're both
but I
like
could be
living in the
wrong.
house together, the Queen's estate
Right.
together. It's just nuts.
Yeah.
Also during this time, Hannah is still hallucinating. She's getting worse.
Right.
And Mr. Yoon, all he really cares about is her.
Right.
Even though he took over the whole company, he's not satisfied because he wants her.
Right.
And so he develops a plan. Who wants to talk about the plan?
Do you remember the plan?
Yes. Remember, he gets her to come in and he thinks, oh, we'll have a press conference. But beforehand, he tells her that he wants her, he'll put her back in charge, what she's been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Reinstate her position.
Yes.
Yes.
But
And the mother had wanted to take over her position, and he wouldn't let her. Right.
something like that.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
because
Yes.
it belonged to Hannah.
Right. Right. So he
Right.
wouldn't allow it.
But he said that if she didn't want to do it, then he would tell her family about her illness.
And he
Mm.
would get the male lead convicted of embezzlement, all these things that he had evidence planted.
All those
you-
horrible
if you
things.
don't marry me. If
Right.
you don't take your position and agree to marry me, this is what I'm going to do to you.
Yeah.
And it's awful. And then during this time, throughout these episodes, during these episodes, Hannah and Hyunwoo have been reconnecting. Like they've
Right.
been rekindling as they're in the village. You can see, she just starts to see again that he really loves her. It doesn't matter
Right.
if they're married or not, the
Right.
care he gives her. And it's really, really sweet to see that.
Yeah.
And he's basically like, I would have married you again, even though
I
we're
love
divorced
that
now.
part. They're sitting in front of the market that
Mhm.
his mother runs, and he tells her that he would marry her all over again,
Yes.
even knowing that they would break up.
Right.
But
It
I
is
just-
so
oh.
sweet.
I love that part.
Yeah.
And so here they go to the press conference, and Hyunwoo is like devastated. Why is she going with Mr. Yoon?
Right.
How could she side with the evil
Right.
team evil? I don't know.
Right.
But it seems almost like he knows that something's up. She might get involved with him or married
Right.
to him.
He's kind of a little
Yeah.
scared
He's
of what's
at the
going to
press
happen.
conference and he's just
Mhm.
totally devastated. And I was devastated too, to
Yeah.
be honest. I'm like, how could he trick her into this?
Right.
How could she agree to it? And then she doesn't agree to it. It's such a cool part.
Doesn't she
Yes.
kind of let the cat out of the bag as to how horrible of a
Yes.
guy he is?
Yeah, she basically says he's blackmailed me because
Right.
I have a terminal illness and he was going to tell everybody. Or she says I can't. No, she doesn't say that. Doesn't she say I can't accept the position to run the company because I have a terminal
Yes.
illness?
Hmm.
Yeah.
And the only reason I'm here is because he was going to
What he was going to do to her.
to the
To
male lead.
Hyunwoo,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
yeah. So she just lets it all out there to the
Mhm.
media, to everyone, when her whole family doesn't know she's sick.
Right.
No one has known.
So here
Right.
they hear it all, and
Mhm.
wow.
Yeah. But everything that he was holding as a secret to use against her,
She said it all.
she said it all.
Yeah.
And the truth shall set you free, right?
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, because that was a big change in her
Mhm.
family knowing and everybody knowing. And I think that was another change in everybody in the
Yeah.
direction things are going.
Yes.
When you keep things in the dark,
Yep.
it can grow and spiral, but
Right.
bring it into the light, right?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
So I mean, that's one of my favorite parts too, because then, well, it's really sad though, because after she gives the press conference, she collapses
Yeah.
Right.
and ends up in the hospital. I don't know
Right.
if you remember that.
Now that you say
Yes.
it, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes right up to her and he's,
Yeah. He's
Holding
trying
her.
to, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
even though
Mhm.
she's passed out on the floor,
Yeah. So she wakes up in the hospital and then
her family is coming
Yeah.
there. They're all there.
like everything changes.
Right.
It's so amazing.
and her mother. her mother realizes it's like she's had an epiphany,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And she realizes how bad she's been.
Right. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of that has to do with her being in the village
Mhm.
and coming back to reality, and going back to seeing mother, how she has treated her and has taken her in and stuff. I think that had those things not happened, she probably wouldn't have been to that point. So
Mhm.
those things all led up to her coming to this point where she had a light bulb go off in her brain,
Yeah.
and she was like, "Oh my God, I need to be a mother."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
she just sobs and sobs like, I've been the worst mother and I've
Mhm.
almost lost you. I cried so much. I might cry now.
Well, I think I said at the beginning, the first one of these, I cried more at this
Mhm.
at this whole drama than I have in any of them probably put together.
know.
It was the whole thing just kind
I
of
know.
tore at me all the time. And whether it was happy tears or sad tears, or angry, it was, it's just so good.
I love everyone's hope. They're all so hopeful. We're going to find the best doctors. It doesn't matter that nothing's worked so far. And, your white blood cell count is low. Okay, we're going to increase it. And they start feeding her all this meat and protein because they read that it could help. And
Eat your protein.
Yeah. They're on a mission
Right.
to save her. And I love how they all rally together.
Right.
And when she wakes up, I think, I'm not trying to steal what you were going to say, Mom, but you mentioned it to me earlier. She just says right away to Haiyan, like, I want you to know I love you. And it's things that I thought I would never be able to say to you again. I got scared that I wouldn't be able to tell you. And I don't want anything else to happen before I speak truth out to people and how I feel. So.
Wow. So then, should we talk about the slush fund?
Yeah.
Slush fund. Yes.
So there's this slush fund, and the grandfather has hid it somewhere, but nobody knows where it is. He has not told a soul, right?
Right.
And so evil Mr. Yoon is looking for it. His mom is looking for it. Now the family's looking for it, and especially Haiyan, he's trying to figure out where it is.
Mhm.
And they somehow, somebody on both sides realize it's in the house.
Yes.
So then they have to figure out where in the house it is.
Mhm.
And so both sides are going at it a different way. And doesn't Mr. Evil Mr. Yoon, he doesn't realize it on his own. Didn't he overhear or steal the information or something?
Basically, he's watching old videos. Remember
right.
old home videos that the
Oh,
chairman
That's
made?
right.
Yeah.
And some of it, this is our new home. And
That's right.
oh, this is the secret safe room that nobody knows about. And this
Yes.
is how you get to it by pushing this button in the elevator. And
Yes. Whereas the good side will say, Haiyan Yu, they found it from the blueprints and stuff, right?
I think
the original, because I think there were several renditions of it because they didn't want everybody to know, but the original ones, maybe I'm wrong. Wasn't there a couple different, and then they realized that it was?
I think somewhere along the line they figured out it had to do with the elevator. But I don't know if it was. Yeah, it was probably by looking at the blueprints. I think you're right.
I could be totally wrong.
No, I don't know.
I know.
Sounds good to me.
Somebody correct us.
The chairman is back at the home too. I don't know if we've noted this, but he's kind of in this dementia state, kind of.
Oh,
He'll
that's
come
right.
in and out of lucidness.
Right.
Yeah.
And the evil girlfriend treats him terrible.
Yeah.
Wants him barely alive. She does.
Well,
She's
she
so
really
evil.
wanted him to stay unconscious.
Yeah.
For
but-
a specific amount of time.
Yes.
So she could keep his power of attorney.
Yeah.
Right.
So as long as he's alive, she has power of attorney.
So she doesn't want him coherent that he can do or say or
Right.
change anything.
Mhm. So I'm not sure if it's in episode 13 or later, but basically, the chairman realizes like the only way I'm going to save my family or stop this control that my girlfriend has over me is if I kill myself, right? Basically.
Right.
And it's so sad, but he does
It's
that for his
horribly
family.
sad. Right. But remember, before this, Hannah goes and visits him, remember?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And she plants that pen that records, and
only they knew it recorded. It was like this secret thing
between the grandfather and her. Yes. So that I think that's an important part. That happens. And I think that her being there probably, I don't know, mentally probably
helped him.
Him, but then made him realize that the only way he can help his family is to do what he did.
And he leaves the recording. I don't remember what he said on the recording, but basically he's trapped. And the only way out of it.
Yeah. Isn't that sad?
So he just he wheels himself off the stairs. And it's so sad.
It is so sad.
The crazy aunt. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I'm crying right now.
Oh.
It's just awful. But I mean, it's the only way they get kind of are able to go back to the home too.
Right.
So at the end of episode 13, basically they're all leaving the village. Soo Chul and his wife decide to stay at the village.
Right.
Which is so cute because he's kind of found his voice and to grow up there.
Right.
And he makes a lot of mistakes.
Right.
Along the way, like the family and like trying to help.
Right. But wasn't it better to make those mistakes almost in the cocoon of a small community and family where people know and love you?
Yes.
And it's okay to make those mistakes versus being in Seoul where you don't have that good core to kind of help you and encourage you and give you that little uplift you need, right? If you're in Seoul, they just tell you how horrible you are, right? So I think it was good that he was there because that gave him the support he needed.
Yes.
To become the man he wanted to become.
And then the male lead and female lead, they go back to the apartment that he and you had when they were divorced, and it's this small little like studio apartment.
Had it all along. Remember when he was talking to her beforehand? Remember when they just met? He said, "I have an apartment."
Yes.
Oh, yes, you're right. That was his apartment. So it was really, really cute though, because it's a small apartment, and she's like, "Let's just be newlyweds while we're here," and they're so cute together while they're living there, and they've basically rekindled everything, but they're still divorced technically,
right?
But I feel like that's a good, quick summary of 9 through 13.
Right.
Did we miss anything big, or is there anything else you want to share on your thoughts of it?
Not that other than she wears the wedding ring again.
Oh,
yes.
Right.
Yes.
So
he buys her a new ring. We didn't talk about that.
Right.
And it's a wonderful ring.
It is.
It is.
And she wears it and says that she's going to revoke the divorce. And it's a relief to finally see that they're heading in the right direction yet again.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So 9 through 13 is what really got me loving Queen of Tears.
Yeah.
So I loved it. 6 through 8, I hated it. I cried
Yeah.
a lot. Well, I cried 9 through 13 too, but
different cries.
different cries, but so good.
Yes.
Love it, love it, love it. And I think that's all we have time for today, but we'll be coming back for one more episode to discuss the remaining episodes of Queen of Tears.
14 through 16.
Yep. So we'll do that soon. Until next time.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of the KDrama Divas podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode as much as we did. Before we part ways, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. Connect with us on social media at KDrama Divas to stay up to date on recent podcasts and to share your thoughts and recommendations.